Hello everybody and welcome. I am THEBETAPLAN and this is Darkest Dungeon 2, bringing you, in this case, a high octane episode, at least higher octane than some of the episodes of that previously, because there's a lot of things to go over here, so let's dive into it. Look at this, amorous, hopeful, and inseparable. Here, inseparable and hopeful, and two inseparables as well, I believe, for the other one. And here, two inseparables and amorous ones. I have very, very many positive relationships in this group, and that makes a world of difference for your game. I almost would go as far to say that these are kind of crucial, because the buffs they give, like, okay, she wasn't hurt, but 17 healing is nothing to snuff at. Certainly because I haven't even seen a Vestal yet, and the amount of healing that you can get is kind of poor, because it's only the Plague Doctor, and the passive healing when you're in the wagon cart is just very slow. I really don't understand, in a sense, why you cannot eat while you're in a wagon cart, but I can understand it from the game balance, but it just annoys the crap out of me. Just like, eat a sandwich in the cart so you can heal. But, oh my, I'm diverting because that's not even on here. But yeah, that's one of those little things that kind of bother me. Yeah, I like to actually sometimes still hit the person even if they would go down via the damage from the dot. The damage over time, be able to do that blight burn via the new character, which I will show in the next episode. And bleeding, because now that creatures have also a way to resist death blows, sometimes it is viable just to make sure that the numbers go down to actually take another hit, in my opinion. Moreover, that is interesting because it feels, and this is what I love about Hopeful, by the way, that if you can strike, they might sometimes strike both of them, and that can give you some serious hits. But in Darkest Dungeon 2, I haven't found, in comparison to Darkest Dungeon 1, a stall mechanic. Like, you can stall a lot in this game. Now, that might be the very reason why a lot of the healing abilities require you to, and by the way, we missed unfortunately there, to have below a certain health level before it heals, because otherwise stalling would be really, really fine here. We are a group that loves each other, we get a lot of positive reactions to one another, and there might be just a random super big heal in it. But yeah, let's just... it feels to me like stalling is a worthy mechanic in here, and that's just interesting. Considering I can't really do much with the Plague Doctor, I'm gonna blind and daze the guy, so he's gonna go last. And we have some time to do Dead of Night, get some stress relief, which is not limited to the amount of stress you already have, unlike the one that is provided by the Man-at-Arms thanks to Bolster or via the Plague Doctor's, forgot how the fumes are called, but the fumes that give you a boost. And here you also see something what I like a lot, or what I found out, which probably everybody already did, is that the layer mechanics, or the tiered layer battles, also with the one that is at the very end of every region. At the first I found the rewards of the second layer very minor in its increase. And maybe they did that on purpose, so that there's really a feeling of, yes, I've made it when you're at the end. But it has caused me, in my first two runs, not to really much go for them. But now that I've learned that, A, you get a little bit of a heal, if you get into the third layer, and secondly, there are so much better rewards, yeah, I think you should go for it. But it's also much easier when you have people that like one another, like this group does. Oh gods, no. What type of engineering would just did not go through? I don't know what it just said, but that seemed like a very funny dialogue. Let's just blind the dude. And yeah, I am going for the Librarian because he is not very good in blight resistance, and we can get some pretty good blight on him with the Grave Robber, who can hit him in whatever position he's at. And this is, for instance, such an amazing thing when inseparable. Just even if a certain character cannot even target a certain position, if that triggers, they will attack. That's just 14 damage for free. And I'd rather have that right now than have some healing, because, hey, what do you know? We don't really need it. Now let's just get this ounce of prevention here. That is one that actually gives 1 stress release, but you have to be about 5 stress for that to work. And the Librarian is already going down pretty darn quick in his health pool. Getting both bleed and blight on him, because he doesn't have that high resistance.
Anxiety for men's insidious fears.
Bent 1,000 years ago, made to ash in seconds. Yeah. Bit of a disadvantage, can't reach him with the man-at-arms, so the question is what to do. Bolster won't work in order to do stress relief, as we are not about 5. Considering the Grave Robber has the most stress, I'm going to defend her, but yeah, that is a bit of a crapshoot. Besides, the Plague Doctor has a dodge on him, supposedly, but there it didn't work. And there is Categorize, which is a very annoying ability because it actually destroys the following order, and there is a miss, unfortunately, but that was to be expected considering there is, well, a dodge on the Librarian. Besides, it was not that important to have on, and once again, I'm a little stuck here with what to do with the man-at-arms, as I cannot reach the position that the Librarian is in right now. In the end, I decide to actually attack a book stack, but misclick. And probably you've already heard by now, this is an after-action report. I actually recorded this while my wife was sleeping in 2 rooms away, so I really wanted to be quiet as I recorded this. And I kind of enjoyed that, because it allowed me to focus a wee little bit more than I would do normally, because, well, believe it or not, you can get distracted while talking about something while playing a game. Mandatory reading. It's a bit of a... there's a lot of burn. You can expect that we're in the sprawl. It's the mini-boss of the sprawl. But now that he's in the 3rd position, we have quite a few more people that can attack him. Although, unfortunately, now our Barbarian can no longer do it. Or, sorry, the Hellion. I shouldn't say Barbarian. That is a gross misunderstanding. I could hit him with the man-at-arms here, because he can strike in the 3rd position. But I'm not going to do that. And I felt confident enough that I needn't use any of my abilities here. Oopsie daisy, missed, but yep, that can happen. That would allow for, well, resistances, though that one was definitely a miss. I should have used a Blade of Powers earlier, because having 40 extra fire resistance in an area full of fire is a good idea. I'm still not used enough to that, well, mechanic to use combat abilities, use items during a battle. Still too much Darkest Dungeon 1 in me. Play that also weighs more than Darkest Dungeon 2 yet, of course. As for my overall opinion, it hasn't changed after my last little review. I actually prefer Darkest Dungeon 1 to Darkest Dungeon 2 at this very moment, but of course this is an early release. So hey, there is still a good chance that might change. There is one of those nice little heals. But I really miss the build-up of your village and the build-up of your heroes. Your heroes now can build up by visiting hero shrines, visiting their past. I'm actually having quite a hard time with the 2nd level of the Grave Robber. I haven't figured out yet how to win that. I actually would have realized later, I was like, I should have done bolster there. Why didn't I do that? Because later on, unfortunately, my Grave Robber gets 10 stress and the relationships go down, and this team becomes a little weaker because it wasn't... I don't know how I was so lucky to get all these good relationships, but they can burn down once we hit 10 stress. And you will see that in a moment, by the way. But yeah, I feel I miss the build-up of the heroes and the village, because there you have skills, and they build up the skills. Here you have just 2 levels, and the mastery levels get reset once the level, well, once you have a TPK, the total party kill, or reach the end maybe and win, because I haven't had yet a win at the very end. Could happen. Yeah, it feels to me less of a build-up, and it's more of a roguelike, which is just a sound strategy probably for a lot of people that play this game, because I noticed that a lot of people come from roguelikes playing this. That wasn't for me the case, so I'm still a little bit of two minds. Here, well, as you will see, we'll go into the relations tab. There is a relationship gone because she went into a tense stress mode and therefore lost a lot of relationships, which is very annoying. As we do here a lot of modifications on these little guys. One which will help with this, I would have more of a chance to crit, but it doesn't really matter. What I really want on him is that dot. I want the bleed and I want the blight. Which by accident I thought it was Iris 1 blight, but it isn't. And yeah, I have very low flame here, so I'm gonna go and increase the flame a little bit because there's another free stager, and well, it's really annoying if the enemies become so much more powerful. I think these are gargantuan enemies having plus 33% health. They might be frenzied enemy with 25% extra damage, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna check that out in a moment. But yeah. Really, the tip is to kill the guy in the back because if he reaches the front, you are doomed. You don't need to do that much with him. A grave robber is an excellent way to kill him if he has poison darts, because he doesn't have that much hit points and he is not very blight resistant, which just makes it a very easy target for just a nice dot. You don't. There you go. Hit us with that. Ignite. Both healing you as well as doing an annoying little attack. There you go. Bye-bye. No explosion. No horrible death. I do also still, on the other side, love Darkest Dungeon over Darkest Dungeon... Darkest Dungeon 2 over Darkest Dungeon 1 for the aesthetics. The aesthetics are very well. But this is a funny one. This is where I wanted to bolster on the Grave Robber, but the Hellion doesn't want that to happen. They are inseparable, she and the Man-at-Arms, and therefore disagrees with him using that ability. And so having a positive relationship, I was shocked when this happened for the first time. It didn't happen for the first time here, but shocked when it happened for the first time. It is actually possible for a good relationship to block you from doing the move you want to do, which actually makes neutral relationships viable. But I do think that good relationships, even if sometimes blocked, it is better to have good relationships with sometimes a block than it's not. But yeah, it was an interesting choice to make to be sure. And there's still some skills that I don't understand what the upgrade is, because it sometimes seems like they are exactly the same at the next mastery level. I must be missing something, but yeah. Don't forget the Glimmer of Hope. Nice, can gain that. Do this, there we go. There is the 2 stress relief if over 5 stress. The only one that is better at stress relief, I assume, is the Jester. Actually, I know is the Jester, because I know that he can do 2 stress relief whenever you like and do 3 when needed. Of course, however, he doesn't give the defense to himself like the Man-at-Arms, so I think those skills are very balanced. But yeah, not losing relationships, not having stress is such a big deal that I think a Jester is... I'm going to be very curious to see how that's going to work out. And that's going to be the next episode as well. We're going to have a Jester. We're going to have the new Runaway class, new to Darkest Dungeon 2. So let's see if she is going to make me feel much more in love with Darkest Dungeon 2 than 1. And we're going to have a Leper. It's just going to be a totally different team. So a lot less defensive. And I'm very curious to see how that's going to work out. I know that the Leper has a mechanic to try and make people forced to attack him, and here I'm just unlucky with the health pool being just about 50%, and yeah, that works out. It's interesting, by the way, that I don't do actually anything serious here, and I still get the good response for, hey, let's have some stress relief. And here I am considering once again to delay getting another stress relief for her, but in the end I decide against it, because I do have 2 burning people.
A righteous action.
And here, this is, the next reward level is just so low, it doesn't feel like it's worth it, and it isn't. basically. If you can't reach the 3rd stage, I would advise not to do the 2nd stage. That is my little tip, my little way of dealing with things. If you agree with that or not, let me know in the comments, because I'm quite curious. I haven't had a lot of feedback on the series. In fact, it is one of those series again where I love something, and I guess I'm just one of those minor YouTubers that not a lot of people follow, and it goes into the folder of me. I know of a guy that does better, or I know of a girl that is way more funnier, or I know of they who just do it more faster, I don't know, or have more exciting episodes. Whatever the heck it is. But yeah, I still love dark fantasy, and I know I haven't visited this genre in quite a while, but I didn't find a game that really cold to me that I really want to report. It is really a mega shame to me. Wow, do people still say mega? Oh man, I'm feeling old right now. That there are so many unfortunate things happening around the release of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. I have pre-purchased that like immediately when it was announced, and oh man, it was supposed to be out already back in the day. But yeah, of course, also the I know Corona also happened to COVID, but that was not the only reason. I don't know if you followed it, but I will spare you the drama llama that came along with that. And otherwise, I probably would have been a little bit more dark fantasy, and now I've lost a lot of people because YouTube wants you to always score, and you, those that love dark fantasy and loved my channel for that back in the day, oh, you might have missed and think that I've gone only strategy. It is not a comment or a criticism that I would dare and deny, because it is the truth. Alright, but having said enough about that and reminiscing on the past, we are soldiering on forward. And this is where I think she tried to target the Grave Robber, but because she's stealthed, you can see both of them happening, and then you see the Hellion taking the damage. Inseparable, another stress relief. Nice, but in this case, I really would love it if you had a heal. There is no rhyme or reason to what they will do. But yeah, also because these interactions happen this way, I feel like in Darkest Dungeon 1 it happened less often, or different. For the like of me, I can't entirely remember, but it feels like this happens way more often. Then again, this team is stacked on relationships, and relationships are a new thing in general, but you did have comments in Darkest Dungeon 1 where people were stressed out and they had comments on other people and give them stress. But yeah, I think because of the relationship, this happens way more often, and I'm not sure if the speed of these things should be an option you can toggle somewhere, because I can imagine that for some of the very, very good players, like top tier, I already noticed them in Darkest Dungeon 1, they had a mod or modification or some way to speed up the animation so that they were like no longer visible, basically. And I can understand that, but I love the animations. The visual thing is what makes me love Darkest Dungeon 2, so I don't really want to get rid of them entirely, but they just last a little too long sometimes. And here you can see that actually people can also get stressed because one of their loved ones gets hit. And it is not all good, but of course what we are here for is that third stage, which we are just about to reach as we're going to whack this gentleman here in the front into oblivion. 28 damage. Thank you very much, Hellion. And there it is. There you see these special trinkets that you can get, and that golden line trinket requires another trinket to work. That still hasn't made me entirely convinced of those trinkets, to be honest, because they tend to be about 40%. And I've seen the lower tier trinkets on their own can give a 25 to 30% buff. That means that I sometimes would rather have two trinkets of 25, giving me in total 50% buffs in certain areas, than a single buff of 40% somewhere. So, for me right now, the trinkets given by the cultists do not feel really great. And here I do really want to use combat stimulants because, ooh, these guys are nasty. I first want to kill the little guy actually in the back. I don't know why I went for the guy in the front. Oh yeah, because of course it's my Plague Doctor has to. But this little guy in the back here can heal the guy in the front. As can actually the lady. I don't really know if I want to call it that. Can do that as well when she has the right thing active. But having at least one of them down, I'm not sure if I'm gonna kill both of them. Because the other thing is that this guy is a beast. Look at that. He could have blinded people, getting them all stuck, but yeah, kind of dangerous. And here she has that annoying worship token, which is at least one thing that can heal him. And don't know if she has other abilities that only trigger or can trigger if she has that. But this is a heal, I think? No, this is a stress relief. I don't know yet if the lines can tell you front also if what they're gonna get. So he has less damage from ranged attacks, but not less damage from melee. And there's a lovely critical. And I do have a lot of blight here, so I'm trying to kill him off. There was a chance that it would go right. This is a very daring play, though. And here we have a crit chance as well. So there we go, and hopeful triggers as well. This is nuts. This is super luck. I can tell you already that, as I said, for the next episode we're gonna see the new class, we're gonna see the Jester, we're gonna see the Leper return, those two. And this team was very unlucky doing the fight a bit like this on the way to the mountain, and this guy got healed twice, and oh boy, oh my, long work failed. It's range damage. I am doing it down below, but here she can heal him. But he at least dies instantly to the blight. But I would advise you actually to handle this fight differently by taking her down first, even if the big guy is dangerous. But his death blow resistance is big enough that, well, unluckily in the other fight had like 3 times go off and he just survived and then just got a healed for like 1/3 or even half his hit points due to a lucky crit on their side. You can't win them all, but yeah, this is the final stage fight over here. Looking to who's gonna get healed. And I hope you enjoyed this type of episode. Having a high octane, high action episode with, lots of things visiting and new things. So that is also what I would like to do in the next episode. Let me know in the comments if you like this, if you're still watching this, and if you're watching this still and have reached up to this far in the episode. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being a kindred soul that likes dark fantasy. I hope to see you in the next episode. And I hope to hear your comments, because interaction with my community is definitely what keeps me going. And if you like these type of games, but don't react, then I feel like it is less interesting for people that watch, and thus I don't play them. Commenting is the best way you can help out, as well as thumbing up any YouTuber that you follow. But for now, I say thank you for watching, and remember, great peril yields great beauty. And that's certainly true for Darkest Dungeon 2.